Good Monday morning, everyone. Sir Owen Disney here, and I'll apologize for looking a little bit rough right now. On days like this, I kind of just want to relax. So you're getting the 500 o'clock shadow, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, when we do the video later, we'll be able to have it cleaned up just a tad. Sorry. It's 12:40 in the afternoon, and we're going to talk a little TNA Impact. And again, I'll apologize for not getting the video out until just now. There's been a lot of busyness lately. As a matter of fact, I pulled a Dante, because I am Dante, as everyone knows. And because of that fact, I wasn't even supposed to be at work yesterday, and I ended up working a double. So, because of that fact, I didn't really get to do much with Sunday. I actually just worked all day. I worked 12 to 10:45. And I almost got called in today, and I would have went in if it wasn't for the fact that I have way too many hours. With the wonderfulness we have with only having 29 hours, not thanks to my company, thanks to other things that we do not talk about on POP, I would say that basically I have to not take these hours. I wanted to take them, but I couldn't take them for that too many hours. So that's why I'm sitting here, waiting for Raw to start in about 7 hours. 16 days. 16 days away from going home, and oh my god, I cannot wait. I actually received my 5th and final Magic Band in the mail. And I've got 5 of these boxes here. This is insane. Look at this. I'll show you. Look at this pan over here. Okay. See those boxes right there? There's 5 boxes right there. There is a Magic Band in every single one of those boxes. And I have every single color of Magic Band that exists. They all say Owen on them with the exception of one. My green Magic Band says Sir Owen on it, but the rest of them say Owen on it. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to test to see how long it takes to get them out if you have just a name versus having more than that, having a longer name or a unique name that you can't just say, oh, I'll pick a John up and I'll put John out and send him out. And I'll pick up Mildred and I'll send that out. But no, I put Sir Owen and it took longer. So that's a little heads up right there. For those of you that get Magic Bands and want something specific put on them, that is not your everyday John, Ted, Harry, Ron, like Susan, Sharon, Jason, Jacob, Tanya. Yeah, basically, you have to wait a little bit longer for it. It doesn't come automatically like it does. So that's the reason why I wanted to show you that real quick. So now, as I pan over, I am 16 days from going home, which means we are 2 weeks from Wednesday. 2 weeks from Wednesday is going to be when I head out to go back home again. And Mom actually leaves on Saturday, so she'll be gone in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yay! Owen can't count. You know that. 5 more days, Mom will be in town. Oh! I want to show you something. This is a prototype, but I want to show you something that will be existing very soon. I'm not going to show you it. I'm just going to kind of pan up and... What is this? What is this pop logo with my awesome face in the top corner? I can't tell you what that is. I'll have to show you when they're actually done. So, that's a little bit of a surprise for you guys. Somewhere down the line. For those of you going to Reunion this year, you'll probably get one. I'll say that right now. If you're interested in one, you'll probably get one. Because I'll have a lot of them. Now, I also want to talk about the fact that TNA is going to be returning to Universal, obviously Home Sweet Home, and this time Soundstage 19, which is right next to the Blue Man Group. Not a Halloween Horror Nights soundstage normally, so they don't have to worry about it, and Soundstage 20 can go back to Halloween Horror Nights in 2014. So because of that fact, they just announced there were going to be tapings for the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Of December. Obviously, you guys know I'm going to be down there for that time, but there's one little problem. See, the 4th is the day before Reunion starts, and there's going to be a big meetup, like a solo meetup, at the Tambu Lounge at the Polynesian, And it's going to be like you can get to know people before the first meet. Obviously, meet people before the first Mike Scopa Dole Whip meet on Thursday. So you can do that, and it's at 7:30. The problem is Impact starts at 7, which means I would have to... Here's pretty much what I'd have to do. I'd have to do my reservation at the Sci-Fi for lunch, and then I'd have to head over to Universal at 3:15, 3:20-ish, something in that time frame. Get over there and hope that there is room for me in the new Impact Zone, not even knowing I'm guaranteed a ticket, so it's kind of a nerve-wracking experience. The day after would be a little bit easier. Actually, not really, because it's the first day of reunion, and the events end early. I mean, they end before 6 o'clock, so, I mean, it's doable. But the problem with it is I don't know what everyone else is going to want to do. So the reason I'm going down is because of reunion in the first place. So I'm going to stick with that. Now, fingers crossed, TNA announces Impact tapings for any time between the 8th through the 15th. So I would be able to go to Impact again. If not, I'll have to wait till next year to see Impact Live once again. And the dates for next year, as of this moment, are the 19th through the 29th. So if money gets better, it might be the 18th through the 30th. Haven't quite decided yet, but that's probably what's going to end up happening. So, like I said, I want to throw a little housekeeping out of the way. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. Tomorrow we're going to Athens to partake in 12 Years a Slave, finally. It's coming to the Grand, and we're going to check that out. And then on Wednesday, we're going... Sorry, long day. Then after that, we're going to watch All Is Lost. Wednesday, I got to work, so yeah, Wednesday's pretty much out of the blue. You know what Wednesday is? Wednesday is the 1-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. Not the 1-year anniversary of Pop, that's May 1st, 2014, but the 1-year anniversary of youtube.com/Sir Owen Disney. Because on November 20th, the first video was uploaded to this channel. So it's a big deal that in less than a year, I am looking at my list right now, we are sitting at 18,052 views, which means we are under 2,000 views left to that magic 20,000 viewers mark. Now think about it. We hit 10,000 views in probably about a little bit more than half a year. And we'll get to 20,000 probably by the end of the year. I almost can guarantee that. Especially with the views from Reunion. People start checking the videos out. And I'm trying to get the word out, and I've got something, like I said, I showed you that little sneak peek of the thing that will be getting the word out very soon. So we've got that. Once again, I want to thank every single one of you for watching these videos, viewing these videos. It's, I've had a great time, and I'm having a great time over and over. AJ and I have got together, and over the phone the other night, I was able to make it over here, so we kind of did some brainstorming over the phone, and we've got some amazing verses for you guys for the rest of the year and way into 2014. I have a calendar that's up on my computer right now. Not in front of me, of course. But I do have a calendar right now that's on my desktop that lists every single Sunday in 2014. With the exception, of course, Valentine's Day, which is a Friday, so which means you're going to get 2 verses that week. You'll get one on Friday, and you'll get one on the 16th, which this is February, obviously, so you'll get 2 verses on the weekend of Valentine's Day. Why? Because I wanted to make sure we did Gone with the Wind versus Casablanca on Valentine's Day, and then the next 2 days later, you'll get another verses. I can tell you what that verses is, but I'm not going to right yet. I'm going to let you simmer on that a bit. So, lots of things still to come. Hours picked up hardcore at work. Things are getting better. Money's getting better. Thanks to my mom for giving me this amazing Christmas present, which means this is awesome. I actually get money in December, and that's great because I am direly in need of paying off this credit card. Once I pay off the credit card, I can start focusing on September next year. September next year will be with my dad and my stepmom, and which marks my debut staying at a Universal hotel. I'll actually be moving into Cabana Bay for September 19th through the 22nd. I'm going to be there for the opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights. Because of this moment, if everything stays the way that it's supposed to, according to speculation, Halloween Horror Nights this year will be the dates of the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, and then again the 25th through the 28th, and I will be down there for all of those days. So probably those times I'm going to be spending the day with my dad and my stepmom and spending the night at Halloween Horror Nights, and a couple of those nights my stepmom will join me, so that'll be pretty cool. So I think I'm going to take her on the 25th, which is a Thursday. It's not going to be as busy. Excuse me, I don't want to have to run her through the ringer on a weekend, considering I don't know what the IPs are going to be the next year. I don't know what the show's going to be next year. I don't have an idea, but I have no idea exactly any concrete information. So that's the reason why we do things that way. So, housekeeping out of the way, like usual, it is time to talk a little TNA Impact. And again, I'm sorry it took so long, but there's nothing I could really do. So, we start the show off. We're in Cincinnati, by the way. Start the show off with the Aces and Eights coming out. Bully Ray, Garrett Bischoff, Nux, and Brooke Tessmacher. Brooke, that's just calling her Brooke now, I guess. Excuse me. Sinuses, the weird changing in weather. The club isn't about quantity, it's about quality. Well, that's funny because there's nobody quality in that group except for Bully Ray. But he was referring to Brooke and has her do a little twirl and show off her assets. I don't need to be the World Heavyweight Champion to be the most talked about person in the company. He accepts Mr. Anderson's challenge, and he says, I'm not just going to pile drive you on the stage, I'm going to pile drive you through it. Mr. Anderson comes out. He basically says, we're sick and tired of Aces and Eights, me and the entire viewing audience, including myself, actually, and I'm a Bully Ray fan. The shirt should tell you that. So, when I beat you next week, how about we do it this way? Aces and Eights, done. Completely gone. Bully says, in a roundabout way, no, are you crazy? I'm the one who has the cards here. You're not going to get a one-up on me. I'm not going to agree to the stipulation. Anderson's like, well, I pretty much realized that's exactly what you were going to say. So, how about we throw this caveat out? If I lose, I'm going to leave this company. He's like, I got a wife at home ready to give birth and to twins, and how about I just leave this company if I lose? And Bully basically says, he pulls a little ECW Bubba Ray Dudley out and says he would be more than happy to pile drive his wife. So yeah, yay, gotta love that. That's what happens when there's not TVPG, folks. So we go on top of that. Bully, in a roundabout way, accepts the challenge. Anderson sucker punches him, gets mugged by Garrett and Nux, and Bully gets a chair, and he gets booted in the midsection. Anderson gets the chair, and Bully powders. But Anderson's like, I'm feeling froggy, I want a match right now, so one of you three get in the ring, let's have this match. So, after a little bit of deliberation, when we come back from commercial break, we get Nux in the ring. So Nux comes to the ring, and right away Mr. Anderson goes to work on it. This is a street fight. Anderson's in street clothes. Nux, of course, wearing the normal gear of Aces and Eights, which might as well be street clothes. So, 10 punch in the corner, and he comes off the ropes. Big clothesline, comes off the ropes, ducks the clothesline, and Nux plants him with a crossbody, 1-2, and a kick out. He chokes Anderson on the middle rope and dive bombs the lower back and whip in hard into the buckle. Not a high velocity whip because he doesn't like ricochet off, kind of like the high velocity whip that I normally talk about. He just whips him in the buckle pretty hard, and then he just tosses him to the floor. Drops an elbow on the floor, comes back in. Mr. Anderson gets pulled back in, and he suplexes him back in the ring, 1-2, and Anderson kicks out. So he locks on a neck twist. Anderson elbows his way out, and for good measure, he throws a couple punches in as well. He goes for the Finley roll, and he gets shoved into the corner. Big avalanche to the back because he's shoved chest first into the buckle. Side slam, 1-2, and Anderson again kicks out. Two big short arm clotheslines. Goes for a third, gets countered, mic check, 1-2-3. Opening match, of course, to set up the match that's going to happen at Turning Point on Thursday night in Orlando, the return to the new Impact Zone at Soundstage 19. It will be Bully Ray against Mr. Anderson. No disqualification. If Bully Ray wins, Mr. Anderson is gone from TNA. If Anderson wins, the Aces and Eights must disband, which means this is finally the end of Aces and Eights. So, Joseph Park is basically talking in the back via this new Impact 365 that I really enjoy, which was an Eric Bischoff idea, actually. Park says he wants Christopher Daniels one-on-one. He basically takes Daniels to task for the throwing of the apple teenie in the eyes last week. So, Daniels and Kaz are talking, and basically Daniels says, I thought he would burst into flames. I thought he needed a drink. He looked like he could use one. So he tossed the apple teeny in his eyes. He says he's going to let Kaz stay in the back, and it doesn't matter because EY will stay in the back because he's got to go fishing or fish something out of his beard or whatnot. He says, I'll handle Joe Pancake myself. Once again, the bad influence proving why they are one of the top attractions in Impact Wrestling without any question. Speaking of that, we get our next match, Christopher Daniels against Joseph Park. Okay match for what it was. Park with a high-velocity whip on Daniels. This time it actually worked. Daniels, 2 choke shots to the throat. Double leg by Park. Park goes for the Chicago Crab. Daniels goes to the floor to escape. So they give chase around, and Daniels slides in and stops him with a boot, and he breaks him down. He, steps on the back of his knee and breaks him down so he's on his level, because obviously Park is tall. So, elbows to the back of the head and a clothesline in the back of the neck. Makes a cover. Park kicks out at 1. Whip is blocked. Of course, you can't whip Joseph Park. And it gets reversed. A whip of Park sewn in the buckle. Ducks the clothesline and a sunset flip. And, of course, Park tries to sit out with it and sit on the chest of Daniels. Daniels moves out of the way. Kick to the side of the head, 1-2 and a kick out. Daniels locks in a chin lock. Park elbows his way out. Picks up Daniels and a Samoan drop. So he goes for a charge. It misses, and a shoulder block off the ropes, and a big scoop slam, and then a side slam. 1-2, Daniels kicks out. So he goes for a suplex. It gets blocked. Park picks him up with a hanging vertical suplex and gets on the middle rope for the closing argument. Daniels smartly rolls out of the way. So Park's like, okay, fine, I'll chase you around. So he nails a charging avalanche in the opposite corner, and he's about ready to get the victory, and Daniels kicks him in the nuts. He goes down like a sack of potatoes, and 1, 2, 3. Daniels steals the win. I've been saying forever on this channel, and I've been saying way before I even got a YouTube channel, that Christopher Daniels needs to be a World Heavyweight Champion once before he leaves TNA. Daniels will definitely continue to be one of the bright spots of Impact, regardless if you're a fan of TNA or not. And I know a lot of you people are not, since the viewership is not as high as the WWE videos, obviously. But when it comes down to it, Daniels needs to be a World Heavyweight Champion, and I know he should be, and he could be, and they've already had an opportunity. Of course, remember the thing I told you about, he should have beat Hardy when Hardy couldn't go over to UK because of his little activities in the past. If you have a record, you can't go overseas most times, so because of that factor, they should have put the title on Daniels, let him have the belt, get it back at Hardy at Lockdown. But that did not happen. So this is the perfect opportunity. They did the tournament to determine who would probably end up facing AJ in a title unification match when AJ returns to the company. Storyline-wise, of course. They blew that as well. The only member of Ego in the tournament is Bobby Roode, obviously. So, they missed a golden opportunity with Daniels being in this tournament. But, like I said, there's still time to do this. And there's still really interesting ramifications involved with this bad influence Park and Eric Young feud. Even though, eventually, hopefully, this means that Daniels and Kaz will end up getting the tag belts back. That would mean that we'd get the belts off the Bromans. And I don't think they're going to do that for a bit, because they really don't have any teams to go after them. So, we get our next match, of course, Ethan Carter III taking on a handicap match against the only people he has beaten so far, Norv Furnham and Dewey Barnes, who I like to refer to as the Merch Stand Express. Yeah, you know, Dunn and Marcos for the Ring Crew Express. Obviously, Dewey Barnes works at the merch stand, and Norv Furnham looks like he could. So, yeah, we're calling them the Merch Stand Express. I like that. That works. If you want to steal it, go right ahead, but give Suro and Disney credit for it. So, basically, right away, he ducks the clothesline and an arm wringer by Norv, tagging to Dewey. Dewey with a bottom rope double axe handle. That's hilarious. Tagging to Norv. Norv comes in, middle rope double axe handle, and tagging to Dewey, and he goes to the top rope and double stomps the arm of EC3. So, Carter's on the ropes at this point, at least for a moment. Charging forearm in the corner, and he comes off the ropes, and Carter just eats his lunch with that leaping clothesline. So he pounds away, snap suplex, and a backdrop suplex. He charges in, catches a back elbow, charges in again, catches another back elbow, and a head scissors out of the corner by Dewey Barnes. Ducks the clothesline, tagging in Nora Furnham, who comes in like a house of fire, at least as much as he can. Springboard and a flying body press, goes up top, and nails the missile drop kick. Middle rope, goes for the tornado DDT, and plants EC3, 1-2, and a kick out. Kicks him right in the face. Blind tag to Dewey while the 1%er is being hooked up, and he drives him in with the 1%er, and of course Dewey comes in, and he dives off, and EC3 catches him, Goozle pickup, and done the party with the 1%er, and pins both men at the same time. I am EC3, and I'm a Carter. The world needs us. Okay, what the world needs is for Ethan Carter III to get some more credible competition. I understand that being connected to Dixie, that this gimmick is going to let him work squash matches against Hammond-Eggers or Jobbers or whatever you want to, what vernacular you want to use from whatever decade we're talking about. Enhancement talent, there we go, we'll use that. That seems a little bit more PC nowadays. So, because of that fact, you're going to have these squash matches. The thing about it is, eventually you're going to end up getting a competitive match. Now, you could literally turn Nor Furnham into Mikey Whipwreck if you really wanted to. Have Furnham get some sort of a win and have this be like the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon back in the day. Well, when he was the Lightning Kid or the Cannonball Kid, depending on who's calling your match back then. When he beat Razor Ramon, and that was the big deal. And of course, you have Mikey Whipwreck, who went from being a guy who probably didn't look like he could even take a bump to being ECW World Champion. So, actually pinning Steve Austin in the ring. It was a three-way dance, ECW, I believe it was ECW Arena. It was Mikey Whipwreck, Superstar Steve Austin, when he was doing the Jesus Christ Superstar gimmick, just came out of WCW, was wearing had the long blonde hair that I still like to this day a lot more than Stone Cold. Now, granted, I like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I always will, but I have a soft spot for Stunning Steve, I'm not gonna lie. And I really wish someday they put Stunning Steve in a video game. I'd like to see a Hollywood Blondes team you could put in a WWE 2K15. If I could have that, I would be very happy. Now, make it happen, WWE. So, I would say that eventually we're going to get a competitive match with Ethan Carter III, unless this is what we're doing, is we're building towards this bringing in somebody to the company. What I think should happen, I would love to see this be the way they bring in John Morrison. Because I can't guarantee he's going to end up in Impact, but I've been saying for a long time that John Morrison fits TNA very well, and I think he would be a great asset for the company. This would be a great feud for him. Or if they sign Chris Hero to a deal, I would say that would be a great way to bring him in. I would say that this is building towards another person coming in and being the person that takes down Ethan Carter III. The only person I could possibly see on the Impact roster right now in this gimmick taking him down would be a returning Shark Boy. That's what I could see that. That could work. Either way, I like Ethan Carter III. I love the gimmick. I really wish they'd do something more with it. And I'm pretty sure as we progress, we're going to get a lot more of that somewhere down the road. Excuse me. Now, Dixie comes out to a wonderful chorus of boos, and she basically says no one is irreplaceable. AJ took her World Heavyweight Championship to Mexico, defending the title, taking the vehicle that he stole from her, probably across the border. And he's not my champion. That's why we're having this tournament to crown my hand-picked champion. I wonder who's winning. So last week, Jeff Hardy beat somebody, her words not mine, did not mention Chris Sabin by name, in the Full Metal Mayhem match. The match with Sabin, it was about 10 minutes. It was okay for what it was. So at Turning Point, since this is now Monday, Turning Point on Thursday night, we're going to have 2 more matches that were basically set up by the Wheel of Dixie. And she brings out the 4 competitors. The It Factor Bobby Roode, Cowboy James Storm, the Samoan Submission Machine Samoa Joe, and the who I call the handpicked corporate successor to the Impact dynasty of the Carters, Magnus. That's not been announced yet, but I know it's what's going to happen. So, just like I predicted, it's going to be James Storm and Bobby Roode in a bull rope match. So, of course, Dixie basically kind of stirs the pot a little bit and says, the bull rope match sounds like it might favor you, James Storm, but it's all about what have you done for me lately. And lately, Bobby Roode has beaten Kurt Angle not once, but twice, so you need to prove yourself. And basically, James Storm just gives her what for, and this leads to them getting separated, and that's the end of that. So that's going to be an awesome match on Turning Point on Thursday night. Unfortunately, I won't get to see it sometime in the weekend. Our next match is a match that's kind of surprising. Falls Count Anywhere was a stipulation that was announced between Magnus and Samoa Joe. Joe basically says that she has done a lot of bad business and she needs to realize AJ's the champion. And once she goes through this tournament, he's going to give AJ the first title shot. And Dixie's like, no, that's not going to happen, which obviously means that Joe's getting screwed on Thursday. So this is what we have right now. We're looking at the brackets. Jeff Hardy beat Chris Sabin, and he'll face the winner of the Bobby Roode James Storm match next week in the bull rope match. And the winner of the submission match later on in the show with Austin Aries and Kurt Angle will take on the winner of the Samoa Joe and Magnus Falls Count Anywhere match. I'm calling Jeff Hardy and Magnus in the finals. I'm just going to say that. So, we get our next match of the evening. But first, before we get our next match of the evening, Mr. Anderson corners Garrett, beats him down like a government mule, and handcuffs him to a piece of the set. So, yeah, we got that. Because of her beating down the entire roster last week, or just basically just Velvet Sky and Brooke and ODB, beat down her competition, Gail Kim says, no one can beat me, so I'm going to issue an open challenge to anyone in any company to come to this company and face me. And if you can beat me, you'll get a shot at the Knockouts title. So Gail Kim comes out with Lady Tapa, and she's going to face off against an open challenge. The open challenge is accepted by Hannah Blossom of the Blossom Twins. Of course, you know from the British Boot Camp, and she did the TNA Impact tapings when they were over in the UK. And obviously, she's known for her work in OVW. So, this match it wasn't great, but it was okay, I guess. Gail with a European uppercut, big forearm whip in, and her charging crossbody into the corner, and Hannah punches her way out, and she ends up getting locked in the ring post figure 4. Gail breaks it for her, so she begs her to... She gets on all fours. It's like, okay, I want you to take a hold. We're going to go in, like, amateur wrestling here. And, of course, she comes in. She gets her legs swept out from under her. Makes a cover 1-2, and Hannah kicks out. So, clothesline, back elbow, double chop. Hannah's got the champion on the ropes right now. Snap suplex, leaping elbow off the ropes, 1-2. Gail kicks out. So, whip in, charges into a huge clothesline from Gail. Eat defeat, 1, 2, 3. Gail's basically saying, bring it on. Whoever wants to come to the company. Okay. There's lots of ways to do this. Number one, you use this to bring in people like, I know Candice LeRae is supposed to be coming into TNA soon. There's a rumor about that. And I would say that this is going to bring Taylor Hendricks back to the program one way or another. Since you also have a golden opportunity to bring someone back, I would say that this would be a great way to bring someone back to the company. The problem is, the person that I could see answering the open challenge and stopping Gail Kim is Kong. And as far as I know, Kong doesn't want to come back to TNA. So there's a lot of different directions you can go. So I don't know what direction they're going to go with. If they do an unknown beating her, I mean, you can get Santana Garrett. I know, she could possibly come into the company. It's a very good possibility. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Cheerleader Melissa Anderson could come back to the company. Alyssa Flash, if you want to go with her TNA name. I would love to see that, because obviously everyone knows how big of a fan of cheerleader Melissa I am. And there's so many opportunities of things you could possibly do with it. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. I don't know why Hannah got a singles match. I don't know if that means that something happened to Holly Blossom. I'm actually trying to look it up right now, to be totally honest, just so I know what I'm talking about here. So, let me see. Hannah, Holly. No, as far as I know, Holly is not injured, so I can't. She's not retired that I can see. No, Holly's just not working for the she's not working at the match, so they just did that. So Holly Blossom could be the next person that faces her, so that's fine. I had no problem with that. So you've got this situation right here, so let's see where we go from here. So Joseph Park comes out. He basically says, bad influence says I'll never be the wrestler that my brother Abyss is. He agrees. Interesting. I won't be. He's a legend and a future Hall of Famer. In TNA, I agree with that. Accusations abound. If Abyss is here, I'm not, and vice versa. So you know what? I have a solution, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm issuing a challenge to my brother Abyss at Turning Point this week. So, I wonder who puts on the gear to face off against Joseph Park. Could be anybody. It could be Judas Macias. I don't know if he's on the roster right now. It could be a lot of people that could possibly pull it off. Crimson, maybe. I know he obviously doesn't work for the company anymore. It could be Hernandez. There's a lot of people that could possibly pull off Abyss, maybe. And maybe somebody that could be Abyss from now on if they want to continue to do the Joseph Park Abyss character. Or maybe they're going to end up not doing a match at all, and this will lead to Joseph Park revealing that he's been Abyss all along. And he's got a split personality. So, after this, we get Mr. Anderson talking to Garrett, who is completely beaten down, and he unhandcuffs him, picks him up in a fireman's carry. He's like, let's take a walk. So, this is going to get interesting. I got a feeling. So, we get our main event of the evening, submissions match. Oh my god. Kurt Angle and Austin Aries. This match was really good, by the way. Always is. These two are excellent in the ring together. So, let's talk about this from the get-go. Angle with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Bobby Roode comes out just to watch the match, right? So Angle's distracted. This allows Austin Aries to come up top for the crown, and he gets caught overhead release belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. Toss him back in, and Aries gets to his feet. Drop kicks Angle off the ring apron. We come back to live action, and shoulder block, and Aries with the Hangman's Neck Breaker in the ropes on Kurt Angle. Driving elbows and a leaping knee drop. Leaping elbow. Locks in a front face lock. Angle punches his way out. Knee lift. And he comes off the ropes. Gets caught for the overhead release belly-to-belly suplex again. And Aries rings his bell. You know, the bell clap to break up the spot. Comes off the ropes, clothesline, back elbow, and a big clothesline on Austin Aries. Whip in, charges in, catches the back elbow, gets caught, belly to belly, and then the rolling German suplexes. And on the third one, he releases it, and he drops him on the top of his head as a complete backflip. It was a really awesome sell, by the way, for Austin Aries. Angle slam, arm drag out, as usual, and he nails the rolling elbow, does Aries, momentum carries Angle through the ropes to the floor. So he crowns him on the floor, and he tosses him back in. He goes up top, goes for the missile drop kick, gets caught in the ankle lock, and he forward flips him face first into the middle turnbuckle. He goes for the IED, gets caught into the ankle lock, and it flips him to the floor. Angle gets nailed with a heat-seeking missile, and he tosses him in, goes up top, goes for the missile drop kick, and IED connects this time. Brainbuster by Aries into the last chancery. Angle's going to have to give it up. But he's Kurt Angle, so that's not going to happen. And it gets reversed into a front face lock, and they eventually get up to vertical base, and they trade blows. Right hands from Angle, and forearms from Aries. Aries gets multiple forearms, gets caught, and German suplex in succession, puts him on the turnbuckle backwards, going for the belly-to-belly superplex. Belly-to-back superplex, long day. Staring at Bobby Roode, obviously telling him he's next. And the belly-to-back is caught. Aries elbows him off. Angle runs up for the German superplex, and of course he gets shoved off. Goes for the 450, and Angle's out of the way. He lands on his ankle badly. So he goes for the Angle slam. Aries holds on to it, and the Angle slam again, countered one more time. He charges. Aries goes shoulder first into the ring post, and Angle stares at Bobby Roode and locks in the crossface, and Aries has to tap out. So Big win for Kurt Angle as he is going on to the next round of the World Title Tournament. He will face the winner of the Samoa Joe and Magnus match. Now, if it was a perfect world, this would be Joe he'd be facing, and that's probably not going to happen. Now, there's a way to do it, though. Here's what I would do. I would do this. I would have Joe tap Magnus out. I said that Magnus is going to be the hand-picked successor. He's going to be the person that they're going to put the title on eventually. That's fine. I have Joe tap Magnus out. I have him beat Kurt Angle. Joe's in the finals. Jeff Hardy goes in to face his opponent, who ends up being James Storm. Bobby Roode. So Bobby Roode ends up facing off against Jeff Hardy. Hardy wins. So we've got Joe and Hardy in the finals. What you could do, since it's Dixie, the final match could be Dixieland. Hardy against Joe. Here's what you do. You have Joe tap out Hardy. So Samoa Joe is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Dixieland rules state that something like, I don't know exactly what it would be, but another opponent could arise at any time. Dixieland rules means she makes her own rules. Her rules are this. Joe wins, he's not the champion. He has to beat one more guy. It's Magnus. Magnus beats Samoa Joe with nefarious means and wins the World Heavyweight Championship. That's what I would do. But I'd love to see Joe win this tournament, but it's not going to happen. So, other than that, we get Mr. Anderson, and we finally get an exclamation point, literally, to this chase we've had with Garrett Bischoff all night. He pile drives Garrett Bischoff on the stage, and that's the end of the show. So we're building towards Anderson and Bully Ray this week on Turning Point, which of course will be the free preview that's going to be live from the new Impact Zone Soundstage 19 at Universal Orlando. So, an interesting episode of Impact. Not the matches I necessarily would have went through. No bromance this week. No Chris Sabin this week. Obviously, he's probably selling his injuries from last week's Full Metal Mayhem, even though Dixie didn't realize he was in the freaking match. And Jeff Hardy, of course, did an Impact 365 showing he chipped a tooth in the match against Sabin when he nailed the basement dropkick while he was tied up to the Tree of Woe in the corner, like the dropkick to the corner while the chair was on the face. So, yeah, Impact was interesting this week. Not great, not terrible, kind of just there. A lot better than some of the SmackDowns I've been recapping lately. So, we will be talking more about Turning Point. I don't know what day we're going to be doing this. I'll throw this out to you guys right now, the schedule, so I can let you know what we're going on. So tonight, we're going to be watching Raw in a couple hours, and of course, we're going to be recapping Raw right after the fact that'll go up on Tuesday. Tuesday night will be All Is Lost and 12 Years a Slave in Athens, along with a nice little hour trip to B-Dubs. Can't wait for that. Wednesday, work till 6, whatevs. And then I got to shoot a video that's going to be talking about our anniversary. So I don't know what the video is going to be about yet. It might be Halloween Horror Night speculation. Stay tuned. On Thursday, I'm probably going to put up a Real Muppet Dinosaurs video to put over Ben's and Steven's band. And on Thursday night, of course, I got to work the late night Catching Fire, Goody Gumdrops. And on Friday, I get up and we're going to be doing Catching Fire at 11:30 and the 210 Delivery Man. AJ's movie reviews, talking about those movies, talking about 12 Years a Slave, talking about All Is Lost. And that's going to take us into the week. We got a brand new Versus coming up this week. The final Scary Theme Versus of 2013, which is going to be Cryptic Comment of Scott. And that's going to take us into Oscar-themed Versus for December and January. We're going to have NXT and SmackDown recap later in this week as well. Impact recap from Touring Plans, wow. From Turning Point next week. So that's going to be taken care of. And of course, a lot of movies come out next week with The Book Thief. We have Homefront and we have Frozen. That all comes out right before I leave. So we've got a lot of stuff to recap still. So in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them. Leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop and the Popcaster Revolution. Want to get a hold of me? 3 ways to do it. Number 1, if you want to add me on Facebook, be my friend, it's Owen Disney. If you want to tweet me, you can. Follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. Or if you want to send me a good old-fashioned email, you're more than welcome to. Send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Wrestling fans, I will join you guys again on next weekend. And for WWE fans, I'll join you later today for Raw, and of course we're going to talk about the Go Home for Survivor Series, which of course I'll be recapping on Monday. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.